The argument for free market capitalism is as ideal as the argument for state communism. Let's start briefly with some quick statements. Laissez faire and state are not diametrically opposed. Capitalism and communism are not diametrically opposites. There are many other types of modifiers that can attach to them, such as democracy, republics, autocracies, and more. One could have laissez-faire autocratic communism and another state-republic capitalism. That being said, let's look at what some would consider diametrically opposed: free market or laissez-faire capitalism versus state communism. Free market capitalism is when the government intervenes very little other than for protection, and the businesses are allowed to run practically unfettered. State communism is when the government runs everything and guarantees equal access and distribution to everyone regardless of type of work. These are ideologue arguments with no empirical evidence, because how does one actually run this experiment? It would have to be longitudinal in isolation with no intervention, and that's impossible. But in the ideal state, and there's the problem, we don't live in an ideal state. Ideals are great to have, and they can drive us to new things, but implementing a platonic ideal is impossible. Looking at some of their arguments, they both rely on faith in the social contract and trust on ideals. Free markets create opportunities for everyone versus the government will distribute equally for everyone. Both believe there would be self-regulation either from businesses or the government, and in the ideal states, there'd be no monopolies nor too much power in one part of the government's hands. There's no implementation steps on how to get to no monopolies or completely balanced powers of government. There's no consideration to what everyone would have to give up to join these ideals. It's one thing to say I'm going to raise or lower taxes. It's another thing to try and implement either infinitely more government or practically none altogether. We'll break down why laissez-faire capitalism and state communism seem great to some, but for now, these are my 2 minutes.